60,000 euro. How much is a single euro in ringgit? Here's the thing. I can survive with $400 with a lot of surplus, to be honest, a month. If I just literally have $100, I can survive for a month. Let's bring out a calculator. Euro to ringgit. 1 euro is 4.6 ringgit. So each month? Each month? Each month? Man, my allowance, my disabled allowance, even if I actually get a disabled allowance, is this much per month. And I'm not even disabled persons. And I'm employed due to my issues. So my dad gave me my allowance. This much. And this guy get this much? From just being a troll. The f. He's getting 60,000 euro for the next 5 years. 60,000 euro per month for the next 5 years. I repeat again. 60,000 euro for trolling in the parliament for the next 5 years. Hello there everyone, my name is Kiray Vacuo and I am your host and your voice with the voice here to entertain you and brought you this infuriating video that I just witnessed. Speaking about the world ain't fair at all, this is it. Literally, a guy just trolling around the internet around the world. I mean, literally, he is trolling around the world in the internet, going everywhere just to do crime and stuff. And yeah, like basically a lot of things. And while at that, he become a parliament and then get like 60,000 euro per month. Like, holy shit, that's lots of money. And just being a troll. I was like, wow. Speaking about unfair, like, if you guys didn't know about my situation, I'm kind of like stuck in a situation, which is I'm more or less a disabled, but also not at the same time. Basically, like symptoms is a disabled symptom, but on paper, it isn't a disabled symptom. It's like, I talk about this a lot, so there's a lot of video about this. But long story short, one of the many doctors that I visit that told me about this. So my situation is more or less like I have some ear issues, so I don't really have a lot of like balancing sense, and I constant vertigo, ear ringing, this and that, yeah, that stuff is really hard to focus. But it's not bad enough to be a disabled. So like the doctor that told me that it might be some other like smaller issues, kind of like stack up together. But the main problem is I kind of not like each individual one is not bad enough to be disabled, but when they're combined together, it made me kind of not well enough to be able in the first place. So it is a very complex issue, and since it's complex, I aren't even like inside the disability like supporting systems because of that, and due to my various like debuff, it's really hard for me to work and keep up with people, so I end up like unemployed. So the best I can do is just like, you know, be a guy on the internet and do art commission stuff. But yeah. While I kind of like struggling my life that here, and then like this dude, man, just watch a video and then you get infuriated like me too. Whew. I really should stop talking about this. But yeah, like hi there. Let's reset a little bit. Talk about something else. I do need to take a break since I already been drawing for like 2 hours straight with just the head of the hair, man. But yeah. I did like, here's the thing, I seen a few like news that is just horrible nowadays. California fire, and like there's also the prankster. Actually, not prankster, it's just like horrible people want to become like someone like important in the parliament. Yeah, it's like I saw this like video. Let me try to take this video out. Hold on a little bit. Like, you guys know like Johnny Somali, right? That guy is like stupidly famous. For the wrong reasons. Yeah, basically it's like they go like after Logan Paul. Yes, Logan Paul, and I will not retract what he did. He did it, and it's for clout. And yes, he basically go to Japan, which is like people actually usually is like very tame, you know, my own business kind of stuff. Long as you don't bother other people, people won't bother you. Those kind of like mentalities, and they quite keep things to themselves. And Logan Paul around that time just go in there, become a nuisance, and then just like you know, like those kind of like really like bothering people, like just have like a very stinky fish just walking around the street, or like go to people like shop, just like do some like random like those kind of like yelling, and like do a lot of like, I won't really say heinous, it's more like annoying shit that usually you would get punched. Like doing that, if they come to Malaysia do those kind of things, like second things they're going to get is black eye. But yeah, like a lot of like those kind of like very nuisance shit happening in there. He kind of like popularized harassing people in Japan, and later on, of course, like another guy called Johnny Somali also start doing that shit in there. Actually, aside from Johnny Somali, there's a second person does that too. Yeah, actually, there is a second dude does that. If you kind of like know, there's like a guy who keep like trying to be pretend to be stupid, and then just like trying to get free shit over in Japan and stuff, and also same time prank the shit out of people, harassing people, and then just try to get free shit, like teach people how to like literally create a tutorial how to be a nuisance streamer in Japan. Yeah, that guy is even worse than Johnny Somali, I can say. And yeah, basically in overseas is flat out criminal. Like all the things like so criminal in fact he got caught and then got sent back to EU, sent back to Europe, because the stuff that he keep doing, harassing people and stuff and try to get free shit, is, when I say try to get free shit, I mean like literally go into train and not paying the ticket and just cross the border, cross the guard or anything like that, like this and that stuff, anything that require payment, he just like try to sneak in and try to like get free stuff and steal food, those kind of things, and then beg for money sometimes. So when he got caught, it's literally criminal activities, almost everything like he does. And do you know what? That dude decided to become, he applied and got in and become an EU politician. And everyone was like, the fuck? Like, basically, he is the horrible person that you can find in the world, and then he go and apply to become politicians, and he got in. Do you know how crazy that shit is? He literally are a menace in every single country. He literally got deported almost in every single country outside in Asia, because he just basically do crime everywhere, and got kicked out, and then went back to Europe, because his dad is a priest, somehow the duality of difference, and people didn't really do background check, I think, and then just let him become politicians. I was like, holy shit. Holy moly.
Well, guys, it's practically official.
Like, I literally can show it to you guys now. Like, I don't mind just like do this like watch together. This is from Mujin. Let's watch this thing together, shall we? Yeah, let's turn this into a tiny watch along. Let me I rarely wear headphones, like I say, like my ears have issues, so I don't really wear it often. But now is the great time to do it. Raise up the volume.
Japan is the best country on planet Earth. Not only is it back to...
Can you hear it? If you can hear it, let's watch this together.
its pre-pandemic touristic numbers, but it's beating every single record it held beforehand. But unfortunately, when you have so many apples going through the Japanese system, a bunch of rotten apples will inevitably show up. In the case of
I paused this at the right moment, but not really sure. I just want to talk about this. Like, you know, like nowadays, there are so many anti-tourism spot in Japan because of all this douchebag. And Japan already have a little bit racism in them, but because of all this dude that just harassing people in Japan because of it, people become even way more racist nowadays in Japan. But either way, yeah, let's keep watching this thing.
Nuisance influencers in Japan specifically, most people will think of the example of Johnny Somali, an American live streamer who went there, completely disrespected Japanese culture, and was even racist and obnoxious towards its citizens. But if you've been on the internet for long enough, then you know for a fact that this isn't the first time Japan has had to endure something like this.
You know, funny thing is, like, back in the days, when you want to do stupid stuff, at least they wear a mask? I'm not sure when this happened, but... Oh, in Korea, he's just, like, bold-faced out there. So, yeah, now he got it, huh? Karma, I love the most.
Its citizens. But if you've been on the internet for long enough, then you know for a fact that this isn't the first time Japan has had to endure something like this. I just can't seem to remember who did it first, though. I need a clip to...
Yeah. Like, that's like so many things happening in Japan. I feel sad for them. Like, here's the thing. If anyone do this, all this kind of shit in Malaysia, they would be going back with a black eye. Not just black eye, it might be a broken arm too. I'm not saying our place is a violent place. It's more like we aren't that tolerable when it comes to this kind of things. And our police systems is quite good. I'm not like...
I think there's someone hanging right there.
Okay, all right. I think that definitely rings a bell. Yep, thank you so much. Look, the idea of lunatic YouTubers that would do anything just to get some views on their channel isn't new. It's been around for a very long time, but recently it's been more and more prevalent.
To be sure, I would say, again, I paused at the right moment. But either way, to be sure, I would glad they come in here. If they come to Malaysia and then just be a nuisance, they will get beat. I have no control. I'm not the one who would call out the beat out, but I would definitely sure there would be someone in my country that was just form an entire gang just to gang up on him. Not him. Almost like the nuisance streamer just trying their best to be nuisance in Malaysia. Most likely case, it will happen.
But what does that really mean for the average person? For most people, these influencers are nothing more than distant clowns. Their actions, while ridiculously stupid, will never really directly have an effect on their lives. But, worryingly enough, that could be changing sooner rather than later. As more time passes, YouTubers are expressing a bigger interest in running for political office. Like how at some point, Mr. Beast said, if we lower the age to run for president, I'll jump in the race.
No.
Receiving, of course, a worrying amount of support, but these people probably thought he was joking. Well... He was not. He doubled down on a podcast saying, no, don't worry, I am running for president, but probably when I'm older in my 50s or 60s. Now,
no. No. No.
Look, sorry to burst your bubble. I know you're very excited to watch $1 missile versus $1 million missile on Middle Eastern children, but this isn't the first time that a celebrity has toyed with the idea of becoming a politician. The reality is, though, that while it does sound good on paper, it ends up being very disappointing. But that doesn't mean that you should celebrate just yet. What if I told you that there was a...
Oh, there will be. Because all the kids that watch him is growing up. By the time he can actually like become a president candidate, every kid is already grow up. And then if mentally they still haven't grown up yet, they will vote for him.
Lunatic YouTuber who flew all the way to Japan just to commit crimes in order to film a video. The same YouTuber who showed the world that he...
And then do you know why, like, Donald Trump is, like, very influential around his time, like, when he wanted to become a president in the first place back then? A lot of people support him. It's because back in the days, he is a TV reality show star. He is actually famous for those kind of things, and then also famous for being, like, a very savvy businessman. And then, when he say he want to become a president, everyone support him. And that's how things goes.
Lacked complete self-awareness by making a video thumbnail like this one with the title "Leads to Film YouTubers."
Yeah, like
celebrate.
when I say talk about like the guy who went to become like a went to be a politician in EU.
Just yet. What
This
if I
dude.
told you that there was a lunatic YouTuber who flew all the way to Japan just to commit crimes in order to film a video? The same YouTuber who showed the world that he lacked complete self-awareness by making a video thumbnail like this one with the title of "I spent 100 hours in the world's poorest country." So what if I told you that this YouTuber not only became a politician, but
Yeah. Scary shit happened. Scary shit happens. Imagine in the future, all the politicians just TikTok, like previously did that, just like dancing TikToker. That would be, whew.
but holds such a high office that he can vote on laws that influence over 450 million people. You'd probably think that I'm absolutely crazy, that I lost my mind. Well, I really do wish that I was joking. Because this YouTuber, ever since the summer of 2024, has been a European Union Parliament member.
Yeah, parliament member. Literally, there are important decisions. Like, I think you guys would already know, like, a little bit politician stuff. It's basically like it's still a little bit. It's still democratic stuff. So at the end, like, they have like lots of people have a decision to make. So they have like maybe 100 sit. So out of hundreds, they need like a certain level of vote. So he have one of the sit, and he also can like suggest very ridiculous stuff and then ask for people to vote too. So if everyone is stupid, if they vote for his shit, ooh.
Now you'd think, okay, fine, I guess he cleaned up his act if he's going to become a politician. Well, no, he's causing drama within the European Parliament, going as far as to go up against the vice president of the parliament in TikTok drama, okay? They're literally out here calling each other out back and forth on Twitter videos. It's absolutely wild, but I also have a feeling that it won't be the last time that we'll see a lunatic YouTuber make it to politics. This is why we have to talk about it. Let's do this. So, Phidias Panak.
Yeah, so basically a lunatic tried to become a politician and then managed to become a politician and then do lunatic stuff. What do you expect?
Vacuo is a YouTuber that hails from the little country of Cyprus. His YouTube channel currently sits at over 2.7 million subscribers, and what he did to reach this milestone was actually fairly straightforward. From the beginning, it was very clear who his inspirations on YouTube were. His video pacing, as well as his ideas, were heavily inspired by YouTubers like MrBeast. This can be seen in this video, for example, titled "I Said MrBeast 1 Million Times." Very similar to one of MrBeast's early viral videos
You know what? Maybe I should do this.
titled "Saying PewDiePie 100,000 Times." But as time went by, Phidias
Okay, if I really need to say like a name like 1,000 times, which VTuber will I need to say? Which VTuber I need to say to actually get to this point? Sorry that I kind of like my headphone.
inspiration, Eric, a YouTuber that had gained prominence by trespassing into multiple locations while stalking Logan Paul. He had successfully done so multiple times and was able to build an saying PewDiePie 100,000 times. But as time went by, Phidias started to realize that MrBeast wasn't going to be his ticket to fame. That's when he set his sights on someone else for his ultimate inspiration, Eric, a YouTuber that had gained prominence by trespassing into multiple locations while stalking Logan Paul. He had successfully done so multiple times and was able to build a name for himself. Now sitting at
I'm stalking crime. Is stalking not crime? Is it until you put like restraining order on people and then you still keep stalking them, then it's a crime? Wow. Wow.
over 15.6 million subscribers. Phidias saw this and decided
No. I am stalking someone, see? Like there's a guy like there's a guy right behind me. See? I call him my stan, but he actually is just a dude that just sit behind me, try to do like lip sync with me. And then look at his smile. And look at his fat ass. That dude have man boobs too. I don't know him. I don't know who he is. That guy's my stalkers.
that he would do the exact same thing to Eric. This is when he would make the video, "This is how I met Eric," back in the beginning of 2021.
Oh, the stalker being stalked!
Cyprus all the way to Los Angeles just to meet Eric in order to give him a gift. This video feels like a reenactment of a true crime documentary. Like, think about it. A dude obsessed so much with a celebrity that he's willing to travel through continents and do everything in their power to meet with them. There's been restraining orders issued for less than that. Okay, this is crazy. His plan was to get his community to spam the ever-living shit out of Eric and his team in order for him to meet him. And by using the power of TikTok's algorithm,
Oh, the stalker got stalked. Well, well, well. How the turntable?
with him, he actually managed to do it.
Will not stop until I give this box to Era.
So the message had reached Eric, he found it funny, and he actually ended up meeting with him. He was initially kind of scared, and I mean, why wouldn't he? He's literally meeting a stalker, but things carried on pretty positively. He ended up opening the mystery box, and the video performed very well. But here's the thing, it really doesn't take a genius to understand that Phidias had a lot of potential. The guy was a lunatic and would do anything for views. So Eric had the brilliant idea of keeping him around. You would start to see Phidias appearing in Eric's videos, but you would also see Eric appearing in Phidias's videos, like, Eric controls my life for 24 hours straight. This gave Phidias exactly what he wanted. It legitimized him and his channel, allowing him to not only be present in Los Angeles, but also get to meet some of the top YouTubers in the space. These connections allowed him to create his magnum opus, his most viewed YouTube video of all time, titled I Hugged the World's Top 100 Celebrities. It was evident that Phidias' influence had grown exponentially since the first person he was hugging in this video was Mr. Beast himself, his first ever inspiration. He then went on to hug other celebrities. Oh my god, this aged so badly. Aged so badly, oh my god. Anyway, most of the people in this video were his friends in some capacity. His main goal was the 100th person, which was...
And again, like, if a guy who decided to do all this kind of things, they have issues. They have serious issues. My condolence of anyone that been like stopped by this guy, to be honest.
was going to be Elon Musk. Now, yeah, sure, Elon's mother, May Musk, might have complained that she was getting harassed on all platforms because of Phidias' community, with so many of them begging her to ask Elon to hug him. And I guess Phidias did camp out for 46 days outside the Twitter headquarters, hoping to catch Elon leaving to hug him.
This take dedications. This take certain level of craziness to actually do this.
But look, what matters in the end is that he did it, guys. Elon actually invited him over and hugged him, and not because he was scared of probably getting murdered if he said no. This was easily the biggest moment in his YouTube career so far, even though his methods were crossing every line of privacy, and were borderline on the verge of stalking. He spun it off as some inspirational message for perseverance, and that you too can do whatever you wish to do if you set your sights on it, and it almost seemed like he was on...
Yeah, once you set a sight on doing a crime, you can do any crime you want. That's what he's saying.
On top of the world. But even with all the...
This is a very bad mantra. I guess like all those TikTok crime, they just keep like filming themselves doing crime and all this type of stuff. I think this guy is the main guru that teach people doing this kind of shit. So this is why I kind of like find it like very crazy when this type of things like happens.
These influential friends and all these views, nothing at his disposal could have shielded him from the backlash that his own stupidity would generate. Before committing crimes in Japan, his first major drama involved this video with this thumbnail, titled, I spent 100 hours in the world's poorest country.
This is the world's poorest country, and there is a lot of bad things said about it.
I know who he's trying to copy. But that guy also, like, right now is, like, in some sort of deep doo-doo, too. I don't know why, like, lots of people, like, go viral and then, like, they start to, like, do weird-ass stuff. I think it's, like, a very common thing, is it? Like, it does take a certain dedication of craziness for you to like keep doing video to the point that you get famous. So once you get famous, like people just start doing even more crazier shit, and then like, you know, and then end up getting big deep doo doo.
What is it?
I need to plan out something. Like if I actually manage to become famous, what would I need to do to like let myself fall? What kind of things, like evil, diabolical things I can do? Nah, I can't think of anything.
Doing spinning like this, bro. What's going on?
If it's true or not.
He made this video out to be a way for him to raise awareness about the living conditions in Burundi. But it's actually a very hard video to watch if you have any sense of self-awareness. Viewers did not appreciate the way he was interacting with the local population, appearing to never take anything seriously and acting more like a tourist in a zoo rather than someone who was concerned about the living conditions of people in Burundi.
Here's your 50 cents. Thank you.
He also said very inspirational things like this.
I just wanted to say, guys, that poor doesn't mean bad. Poor is like being tall or short. It's just a fact and doesn't define you.
I wanted to see that poor...
Look, I'm not a doctor, but this lack of self-awareness should definitely be classified as a major disorder because holy shit, this can't be real, but it is. Anyway, based on the dislike ratio, I'm sure you can tell it wasn't a very popular video, and many YouTubers criticized him. One could say that it was his first major controversy of this level. Usually, when a creator is faced with this many dislikes and so much criticism, they take a step back. Maybe they apologize, maybe they start making content with a different point of view. But seeing that we're dealing with someone who lacks all sense of self-awareness, it only had the opposite effect, and it's what led up to more crazy, stupid content. The next step in Phidias's evolution was committing crimes in foreign countries, starting with the UK.
Yeah, basically just go around just be menace to every people. Of course, like Japan is the one that he did the most crime out of. Like basically, like here's the thing. Like I say again, like you guys can like watch the rest of the video quite easily. It's basically, yeah, he does all his stuff. It's like basically just keep on doing crime over crime over crime over crime over crime. I think he also like get more inspirations. Like once Logan Paul did like did his thing like in Japan, and then be like, that's going to be my next destination, and then he just go there and then like, you know,
titled "I traveled across the entire UK for free." His goal was to go from Brighton all the way to the north of the UK for free. He started by sneaking inside a bus's luggage compartment instead of paying $3 for a ticket, hoping to go through the entire ride for free. He was then, in the dumbest way possible, caught by the bus.
You know what? It's not like I'm trying to like suggest and tell you guys stuff. If you really want to make a content like this, at least actually pay for that $3, okay? Just pay for $3, maybe like 50 more for the bus driver, since like you have to shove yourself inside the luggage room. Like if that is actually the case, then I would say like it's somewhat of a dedication that he really want to make like some content, even though it's kind of like a little bit fake, but he does stuff himself inside there, and then from point A to go to point B, and then like film himself running away, kind of, but still at the end it's kind of like fake. But if that kind of thing actually happens, I would actually say kudos to him. But he didn't. He actually just did a crime and just ran away.
Bus driver and was forced to flee after he threatened to call security. As if that wasn't bad enough, after running away, he goes to the train station and starts begging random people for money in order for him to buy a train ticket. After successfully begging for a ticket, it wasn't enough to cover his destination. So he ended up getting on the train illegally and staying in the bathroom throughout the entire thing in order to not get caught. Oh, and
what kind of brain do you have to think about this works?
let's not forget, in the bathroom while he was on the train illegally, he had a sponsor to share with all of us. Like, this is insane. You can't make this up. This is a YouTuber disrespecting a foreign country's public transport system. But people didn't take it as seriously because it was the UK. So of course he wasn't going to take a step back. He did it again in a different country. This time though, he faced a lot of backlash. What really started the first big wave of international controversy was him traveling to India, more specifically Bengaluru, where for an Instagram reel, he showed himself getting on a metro for free by not paying, in the most obnoxious way imaginable. Watch.
I'll teach you how to get the metro in.
Yeah, speaking about this, like I've seen a lot like in New York cities, not just New York cities, like in US, there's lots of places that people just like jump over the rail. Not the rail, I mean like, you know, like you have to like beep and then get into like red train, right? Lots of people just like hop over it because it's for them it's like ridiculously expensive, and it's a very weird concept. Like in Malaysia too, is like we all like it's a very affordable things. The public transport system is like make affordable for reasons. Like I don't know why people make these things like this way.
India for free. Do you think I will get it for free or no?
I don't think so.
I will try to prove him wrong.
Let's hope for the best. La 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 la.
This video was massively disliked, especially by Indians, with many of them arguing that if they were to do something like this in a foreign country, they would get crucified.
Yeah, if you try to do this in US, you literally get kicked. The immediate things is like you get tackled by police or security guard.
Gotta wonder if Phidias would be okay with me going to Cyprus and dodging every bill if it was for a video. But this backlash barely did anything to him. He didn't apologize and he did not stop. In fact, he brought it to the next level, as he always did. I mean, of course he did. This time, he decided to do the same thing he did in India and the UK, but in Japan.
Yeah, my headphone is like slightly broken.
Barely a month after Johnny Somali had gotten in trouble in that country. Now again, this video was taken down and we'll get to why later, but for the time being, the original title of the video was I Traveled Across Japan for Free, and this is a re-upload. Phidias and a bunch of other foreign YouTubers wanted to travel the entirety of Japan, but for free without paying for anything. The video starts off with a massive...
He brought more people to do stupid shit together. Like, this is the worst.
Secondhand embarrassment with him begging for money from a local. Yes, and the worst part is we're only getting...
Nah, it's because like this wired. Back in the days, because I can't wear like the... I know my ears like have some issues, so I don't really wear these kind of things that much. So even like back in the days when I'm working, when I need headphones to listen to music to, I kind of have this thing on, and this wired USB wired is like get yank a lot of times, yank off, and then like now it has like some issues. I should take this thing to go and fix it, but it require like send to like the manufacturer's place, this and that, yada stuff. It might take literally like 2-3 months to actually get it fixed. So I just told them like nah. So it's always been like this. I need to like knock it a few times to actually like have like a good listening to. You know what? Actually, if anyone actually like give me like the donation go, I might actually go and buy a better headphone.
Started. He then got on a bus hoping to use the money there, and in Japan you pay when you leave the bus. However, when he was about to leave, the bus driver told him that it was 680 yen. He only had 600. He was 80 yen short and tried to act stupid so he can leave the bus, but the bus driver wouldn't let him. Phidias kept acting purposefully stupid, saying, I don't understand what this guy's saying. I mean, obviously he's speaking in Japanese. And so the bus driver ended up calling the police on him, and Phidias...
This guy literally wasted his time. Not just wasted his time, he wasted the entire schedule of people waiting for this bus too. Like, you have to be so self-centered that think the entire world revolves around you to think that way.
Phidias was escorted to the police station. According to Phidias, though, the biggest tragedy wasn't him being almost detained in a foreign country. It was this.
They interrogated me and they took my phone away, so I couldn't film anything.
Come on, guys. Why are Japanese people so against content? I'm trying to make a living here. Like, come
Bullshit.
on. Now, for some reason, the police decided to let him go, probably thinking it's some dumb foreigner that just didn't know how to pay for the bus.
Oh yeah, like this is like one of the hardest thing in the world nowadays. Like police start to like act up. Yeah, like police start to like in Japan, like they start to like be much more like serious on this kind of things because there's too many people like following their footsteps, just become a nuisance in like Japan. But even it is, they can't really touch them. Because like how they operate and how the law works, the law and like a lot of stuff against foreigner and then the law against like citizens is like a very, very different thing. Your country, you went to Japan and then there's a stalkers trying to follow you. You go to the police stations and then like talk to the police that guy, you literally can point that guy like standing right in front of the door. Just say that guy is a stalker that's following me. They can't do jack shit about it because like imagine it's you and then like they will just tell you that you are a foreigner. So unless actual physical like harassment happens, basically it's called too late, something happens, they can't do anything.
And so what was the first thing he decided to do? Maybe reflect, take a step back on how he could have been.
Even that guy like did something, like maybe just like grabbed that person's hand or something, and the police caught him. He basically would just get released like very fast because like not like just touch the hand, not lots of things happen. It's not like actually sexual harassment happens. It's just grab the hand so he can just leave after like get like taken by the police, and then like he can keep doing his stuff like next week or next day. Fastest is next day.
Been detained at any second there? No, it was to commit another crime. He took inspiration from his trip to the UK and thought to himself that he could pull the same thing in Japan by staying in the bathroom for the duration of the trip and not paying in the Japanese metro. But Japan isn't...
Okay, let's go back to a bit.
Him go, probably thinking it's some dumb foreigner that just didn't know how to pay for the bus. And so what was the first thing he decided to do? Maybe reflect, take a step back on how he could have been detained at any second there? No, it was to commit another crime. He took inspiration from his trip to the UK and thought to himself that he could pull the same thing in Japan by staying in the bathroom for the duration of the trip and not paying in the Japanese metro. But Japan isn't the UK. The police knew what he was up to and were waiting for him outside the bathroom as soon as he tried to get out, something that Phidias wasn't expecting. For some reason, though, again, they let him go temporarily, and he decided to run for it, losing them in the process and getting to the next metro before they could catch up to him. Again, I don't know how he got...
Yeah, I think he's like some sort of like main character in some like movie shit. Oh, no, I feel a bit woozy. Let me sit a bit. Run.
away with this, but it seemed like Japanese police were giving him way too much benefit of the doubt. Look at how smug this guy is. He's so happy he just committed a crime in a foreign country and got away with it. And he wasn't the only one. This is another YouTuber from this YouTuber squad doing the same exact thing. He wouldn't stop there though. To make matters worse, he snuck into a 5-star hotel and got to a buffet in which he ate food he hadn't paid for since he's not a guest and got away with it. Okay, again, taking advantage of Japanese hospitality and absolutely making a fool of himself while not even realizing it because he lacks all sense of self-awareness. Again, look at how smug he looks, how happy he is that he committed
Again, this is the politicians in you.
a crime. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this happened barely 1 month after Johnny Somali had done his antics in Japan. People were already very fed up with YouTubers ruining foreigners' reputation in the name of content, and there he was.
Yeah, literally, I feel bad for Japan. I know why they have so many like anti-tourism place and anti-tourism like rules set in many stores. Like there are places that used to be like a hot tourist spot. Now it's just banned tourisms. Like good place for actual good food, like place for like very like special delicacy and stuff. They literally ban all tourisms because people are just being horrible over those places.
Doing it all over again. Moist Critical made a video talking about this, titled "Committing Crimes for YouTube Views is Crazy," and many other YouTubers talked about this as well, such as
Now, around that time is YouTube. Nowadays TikTok. There's so many people does crime on TikTok and then just like post it out on there. Like it's literally posting evidence out. Like this is like crime in foreign country. TikTok one is the worst. It's literally commit crime in the local area and then like just like have you heard about like the guy that bug spray into the produce like fruit stuff? Yeah, that dude actually got caught, and then now he's like I think it's like on like there's so many crimes that he actually commit in his place, so he's kind of like have like around like 20-ish year, is it 15-ish year or 20-ish years that like convicted, all the crime he's convicted like add on together is like 15 to like 20-ish years into in jail, and halfway he kind of like in the court like on the third day, or like no not third day, sixth day on the court, like doing like they still like penalize him, like adding a lot more stacking, keep stacking because he put all his video in his TikTok. His TikTok is basically just a barrage of evidence that all the crime he did, so they just have so much evidence they have to like take 6 days just to like keep taking a look at all the crime he does. And then at the 6th date, actually more than 6 days, at the 6th date he actually tried to appeal to the judge that yeah, I need to go back my house, I have like a dog I need to feed, it's already been 6 days, and like can you let me go? The judge would be like, still have 50 crime to like look over. You pay a bond for this crime, but you still haven't paid for a bond for like the 50 crime that you still stack up to have, so no. Like, I imagine like, if you really have a pet, don't try to do crime that you go to jail for. Like, gosh dang it. I really hope the pet actually like is real and then like someone is taking care of the pet.
PewDiePie, abroad in Japan, you name it. People were so fed up with this, it was insane. This topic was getting so big that even Business Insider wrote about it. A YouTuber is getting dragged for saying he traveled across Japan for free by begging and hiding in train toilets to hitch free rides.
Yep.
At this point, it was getting way too big for Phidias to ignore like he usually does, so he apologized. But believe it or not, his apology was worse.
You know what? That's a saying, and not a saying, it's more like a sentence that we usually say this. Sorry, no police.
Then Logan Paul's apology.
I made a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment.
Instead of it being an apology video or anything that people can actually see, he just decided to comment this on the video itself, saying, "Hello, beautiful people. I apologize to the Japanese people if we made them feel bad. That was not our goal. From now on, I am going to make more research to the cultures we go to and try to prevent this from happening again. I love you all." Well, Phidias, I'm sure the 5 people who liked this comment genuinely understand your remorse, because
I feel sad now. Let me take like how many people are here. That is 2 people here. Hi there. And Twitch, no one. Thank you. At least he got 5 likes. I got 4 likes. Come on, guys, add 1 more. Add 2 more. I need to win this.
truly, this is probably the first time I see someone with a controversy this big apologize with such a badly written comment. Google Translate from Greek to English would have written something better than this, okay? This is not even an exaggeration. The apology was so bad that it added even more fuel to the fire, and YouTube actually issued a warning to Phidias and removed 5 of his videos that were too controversial.
Yeah, here's the thing, like, YouTube is so stupid. If you do one ASMR like video, you get a ban. This guy literally does crime, and then he got nothing. Just a warning.
Including the Japanese one and the one in the UK in which he sat in the luggage compartment of a bus. Japan then proceeded to investigate his train fare dodging, but it was a bit too late since he had already left the country. Look, over time, this novelty of this lunatic that was copying Mr. Beast's style was wearing off. His views that were once in the millions would gradually start to disappear, and his upload schedule would gradually become worse and worse. The Japan video and his complete lack of self-awareness in his other videos contributed to absolutely destroying his reputation. People just did not like him as much as they used to anymore. Not to mention that the people who helped legitimize him also cut contact with him after his many controversies. Things were looking very bad for Phidias. This is where he would turn his attention to his next endeavor. And it's something that no one could have ever seen coming. The European Union has its elections held every 5 years, and the next one was about to be in the summer of 2024. Now, every country in the European Union has seats in the European Parliament. The amount of seats is based on multiple factors, but Cyprus, being a part of the European Union, has 6 seats. Members of the European Parliament vote on laws that affect the entirety of the European Union. This is why it's fairly important to vote for people who you identify with, because they're not just going to influence your country, but the entirety of the European Union. Phidias would go back to Cyprus and create a YouTube channel by the name of Phidias Cyprus. He saw how much there was a disconnect between Cypriot citizens and their politicians, so he felt that it was a good opportunity to actually sit down and interview the candidates running for European Parliament. He made several podcasts with several different candidates, but eventually, something clicked. All of a sudden, on April 2024, barely 2 months before the European Parliament elections, he got up on stage to announce his candidacy beside his father, who is a priest, and man, did the apple fall very far from the tree. Almost every politician in Cyprus,
Like I say again, like, this is very crazy. Do they not do background check when they, like, apply for this kind of things?
saw this as a joke because there has never been a person who won as an independent since Cyprus had joined the European Union. But regardless, he did it anyway. He wanted to bring something new and different for the voters because he was tired of politicians serving only their personal interests.
The irony.
This was yet another time in which he put his perseverance to the test, but thankfully without stalking anyone or committing any crimes. There were articles written about him. He was making waves because, typically, in Cyprus specifically, the European election sees a high level of voter absenteeism. For Cyprus in particular, barely half of the population even bothers voting. Seeing an influencer they recognized motivated more
Yeah, they should give it to me.
of them to actually vote during this election, even though he admitted that he knows nothing of politics, but ran anyway because he can't abide by the continued rules of nerds in Brussels. It's a great campaign story, you gotta admit, but in the end, it was effective. The votes were finally in for the European elections of 2024, and it turned out that one of the winners was Phidias. He was the first independent in history to have won in Cyprus, and the turnout was way higher than usual, almost 14 percentage points higher than the last European Parliament election. He
As Malaysians say, Walao!
was third in terms of votes and had secured 1 seat in the European Parliament, beating some political parties that have been established for decades. He, of course, in Phidias fashion, had to make a video about it immediately after and even had a wonderful sponsor for everyone to enjoy. It was official. Cyprus had elected a 24-year-old lunatic YouTuber to represent them in the European Parliament. It felt like a fever dream, but it was reality. The Tokyo Weekender says this election is both a symptom and a symbol of our times, and I tend to agree. We're going to be seeing this a lot more.
Man, the face. That's a really punchable face.
In the future. One of the first votes that Phidias was going to participate in is voting for the next president of the European Commission.
Yes, I also can make face too.
Ursula von der Leyen. He decided to base his opinion on a Twitter poll. I'm not even kidding. He said, "Do you want me to vote for Ursula von der Leyen to remain as president of the European Commission? Whatever you say, I will do." And the majority said no, sitting at 121,000 votes. It didn't matter, since she ended up winning anyway and is now serving a second term, but it showed that his political career, much like his YouTube career, was going to be very unpredictable. And so far, that's exactly what's been happening. He made a TikTok highlighting how much a European Parliament member makes in terms of monthly income, but also in terms of extra allowances they receive. This video got millions of views because it highlighted that a European Parliament member receives over 60,000 euros a month in terms of both
60,000 euro. How much is a single euro in ringgit? Now here's the thing. I can survive with $400 with a lot of surplus, to be honest, a month. If I just literally have $100, I can survive for a month. Let's bring out a calculator. Euro to ringgit. 1 euro is 4.6 ringgit. So each month? Each month? Each month? Man, my allowance, my disabled allowance, even if I actually get a disabled allowance, is this much per month. And I'm not even disabled persons. And I'm employed due to my issues. So my dad gave me my allowance. This much. And this guy get this much? From just being a troll. The fuck?
Allowances for their team. This information is, of course, available on the European Parliament website, but let's be honest, who's going to actually bother coming here and reading all this? He received both European free and European Parliament member makes in terms of monthly income, but also in terms of extra allowances they receive. This video got millions of views because it highlighted that a European Parliament member receives over 60,000 euros a month in terms of both salary and allowances for their team. This information is, of course, available.
This is bullshit. This is bullshit. Like, here's the thing, like, Euro tax is pretty high on everything. On games, on almost everything. You guys already know, like, in the Euro market is, like, really, really clamped down, especially on the taxes. So all those taxes are actually going to his pocket.
On the European Parliament website, but let's be honest, who's going to actually bother coming here and reading all this? He received both praise and criticism for his transparency. And when I say criticism, I mean people were pissed that politicians were making this much money. But don't you dare think for a second that Phidias became a full-fledged serious politician. His need for drama and controversy to fuel his...
Yeah, he not just getting all those politician money, he's still doing TikTok and YouTube and stuff. I don't think the YouTube still exists, but so the TikTok stuff, he's still earning money from that.
His views was still present, evident in him causing drama with the vice president of the European Parliament. Phidias was saying that there are two ways to vote in the European Parliament, either by raising hands or by using the electronic system. He alleged that the vice president of the European Parliament was using the hand gestures on purpose so that he could direct the vote to the result he wanted, showing an example of him making a mistake thinking that the vote was no, and then him redoing it with the electronic votes and it showing that it's a yes. Obviously, the accusation is pretty big because it shows that he can just choose the vote he wants, regardless of what the Parliament thinks. This made the vice president of the European Parliament respond directly to Phidias, saying that the video is fake and stitched, all in the name of trying to prove a point that wasn't there, explaining that these were two votes stitched together and that both of them were checked electronically. Phidias then went ahead and made another video showing the raw unedited footage sped up and inviting the vice president of the European Parliament for a debate on his podcast, slowly but surely turning European Union politics into a reality TV show. Now imagine if you had more than one Phidias in the Parliament. Yeah, the future looks bleak. This was only...
I say again, imagine all the Mr. Beast or all the TikTokers starting to become politicians. That would be hilariously scary.
one of many
Thankfully, I don't think Malaysia have that kind of issues. I hope.
controversies
I don't pay attention to Malaysia politics a lot, to be honest, because it's kind of a shit show.
of him as a politician. A group that represented missing persons in Cyprus went to Phidias hoping that he can give them a platform in the parliament. They said that the response they got was him mocking them. A group sure looks bleak.
What?
This was only one of many controversies of him as a politician. A group that represented missing persons in Cyprus went to Phidias hoping that he can give them a platform in the parliament. They said that the response they got was him mocking them, saying phrases such as, "You think highly of yourselves," or "I have an uncle who is missing, but I'm not doing that." He then made a response in Greek, but the replies were definitely not on his side, saying things like, "Shame on you, nothing else," "Shame," empathy is not saying 2 or 3 more words to people who are still hurting. He also made a video saying that the main problem in the European Union is that the left isn't talking to the right and that the right isn't talking to the left. But instead of actually making an argument about it, he quoted the foreign minister of Russia from an interview that he had with Tucker Carlson, okay, saying this. Look, as a European Parliament member, doing this is actually insane. I don't think I need to explain to you why that is. The comments were also absolutely cooking him. It was yet another attempt at getting praised, but due to his lack of self-awareness, he only got cooked for it. Where does that leave us today? Well, Phidias wants to create his own party in the European Parliament. Yep, that's right. Jake Paul had Team 10. Mr. Beast has his own team, and Phidias wants to make his own team, but this time while controlling the lives of over 450 million people in the European Union. Whether that happens or not remains to be seen. For now, though, all we know is that he'll be a parliament member for the next 5 years. And I do wonder if by 20...
He's getting 60,000 euro for the next 5 years. 60,000 euro per month for the next 5 years. I repeat again, 60,000 euro for trolling in the parliament for the next 5 years.
In 2029, other YouTubers will get inspired by him and also run for the European elections. I sure as hell really hope that's not the case. Idiot YouTubers need to stay idiot YouTubers. Getting into politics and actually affecting lives of millions of people was never part of the plan, guys. Anyway, thank you so much for watching.
I have no words. Here's the thing, I didn't really pay attention to the video. I kind of like have this thing on while I was eating, so I didn't hear everything. Now I can listen to everything. I was like, holy shit. Holy shit. You know, we should watch this thing more, do this kind of stuff a little bit more. Yeah, it's like taking a break in between when I do drawing. Just have some fun. This is very fun, knowing that the entire world is kind of doomed. Wow. Any more other ridiculous stuff? Actually, I did hear some ridiculous stuff, man, on the VTuber side. I don't know, I should show it. Maybe we should do a little bit much more chatting and then a little bit like drawing first before we do, you know, literally any other things.